buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. So today is a special day.
Huh?
Every day is special to me. Shut the fuck up. Today's a special day because I get a new mic.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had been with this.
Y'all know.
Yeah, y'all know the struggle. So I get this new mic, but the other mic was kind of a cheapo mic. Not really a cheapo. It would work.
No, it was cheap.
Shut up. So
it got the job done.
It got the job done. And the only thing is that now I'm used to being like all up on the mic. So I'm not used to being this far back. So I keep talking really weird because I'm trying.
It's not weird. You're just talking really loud. And I'm like, it's going to like hurt people's ears.
So I apologize if I hurt your ears.
I'll edit the volume later.
I'm trying to be quiet.
In post-production.
I'm trying to be super quiet. Not only that, but we just came back from Cali.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And tiring,
but worth it. Will I go back again? Yes. Will I go back with the same people that I went with? No.
AKA your children.
My children. Yes, exactly. But we had a good time. And I'm glad that we're back. Cafecito and Crime on the road.
Was.
But then we're back, not on the road anymore.
No. Would it be considered on the road because we didn't record in Cali? So we were just over there.
No, we were just on the road, and me and you are Cafecito and Crime, so pretty much we were on the road, right?
Yeah.
Because we consist of Cafecito and Crime.
Yeah.
So what do you have for us? Oh, today's episode is brought to you by Estela. What do you have for us today?
Yes. Oh my God, I sounded like that girl that... The NPC player girl that was like, ice cream, yes. Ice cream, yes. That's how I sounded. But anyways... So for today's case, we are going to Gallup, New Mexico.
Not the galloping.
Gallup, New Mexico.
Wow. So if y'all want to go to Gallup, then go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started. Now, the fun, random, interesting fact about...
First of all, the fact that it's called Gallup is an interesting fact already.
It was somebody's last name. You know how it all is.
Because we're in Texas, so everybody thinks we're riding horses, bitch. So
no, yeah, I remember. Like, little side note. Speaking of California, when I was in high school, I was in this group. So we like raised money and we traveled to California. You know, blah blah blah. And then we visited a couple of high schools there, and we went to a high school. It was really weird. It was downtown.
Downtown California.
Downtown LA.
Oh, downtown LA. Excuse me.
Yeah. So you know,
that is weird.
Well,
okay.
for us, that's weird, I guess you can say.
Yeah, because
we went to different schools. It was like a couple of schools, but I can't remember which school it was. You know, we were like, hey, you know, we're mingling with other students or whatever. And then, you know, they were like, you know, okay, we're from Houston, Texas, blah, blah. And they were like, so do you guys ride horses?
Yeah. I went to not California, as was my first time in California, but I went to New York like in 2009, and they literally were like, where is your cowboy boots? And I'm like, I left them parked outside.
Yeah.
Like,
we were like,
we do not.
No.
Just to let you guys know, like, my shoe game is pretty strong. So I like cowboy boots when I need to wear them, and they are amazing, but that's not what I wear all the time.
Honestly, I feel like most people here that I know of wear cowboys for the rodeo season.
No, I mean, there's people that I know that do wear
for the most part.
The doctor that I work with right now, he wears cowboy boots every day. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's his style.
That's his style.
That's his style. Yeah. Like, and then if we go certain places and you want to, you put on your little cowboy boots, but not like all the time. Like, oh, let me go and put on my scrubs.
Like,
and put
you're
on
gonna
my
wear
cowboy
your cowboy hat and your what come on those strapless,
the chaps.
Yeah,
we don't wear chaps. I don't even know.
Anyways, we're in Gallup, and the fun, random, interesting fact about Gallup is that it's known as the Native American jewelry capital of the world.
Oh my God, I want to
go. Gallup is close to the Navajo Reservation, and along with Zuni, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry if it's not. Zuni Pueblo is to the south, and the Hopi Reservation, they're like around Gallup. So it is also responsible for 70% of the nation's Native American jewelry manufacturing. And Gallup also houses the largest wholesale Native American art business sector in the U.S.
I mean, have you seen Native American art?
Yes.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that we can find a few.
Imagine having talent.
Like, imagine knowing how to fucking draw, dude. I can't even know. I don't even know how, like, I don't even know how.
But not even,
really, bitch, what the fuck am I talking about?
no, también gente que, like, as far as art goes and all that stuff, or being creative, pero people that, like, chisel shit, ¿cómo se llama?
No, pues
Sculpture, like sculpturing and
sí,
shit. Like, how do you...
la gente que hace como cosas con con mud and clay and shit, like, that's amazing.
Pottery, or not pottery, but like
Pero,
sculpturing
like,
and stuff. I'm like, how do you...
Bro, I can't even say in the fucking lines, to be honest, sometimes.
My brain doesn't even know how to compute imagination.
I love pins, pero like, guys, if there's fun fact of Barbara / Barbie that you guys need to know about is that I obsess over pins. If I see a pin that I like, I'm going to be like, I want that pin. But my writing is horrible.
What does it have to do?
Because, I mean, if you have a nice pin, you want to have nice penmanship, right? And mine is not.
Oh, pen.
Nice. Yeah. What did you think I said?
Pin. Like those pins that we bought right now from California?
Ay, no, estoy haciendo pluma para escribir. ¿Cómo se llama?
Pin.
Pincel. ¿Cómo le dicen
bolígrafo.
Bolígrafo.
Sí.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No estoy hablando de pluma de pinche... Pájaro.
No, but it sounds like you said PIN instead of PEN.
No, I love pins. Like, I have an obsessive... Wow. While we were in California, we went to Super Mario Land or Super Nintendo World. And while I was at Super Nintendo World, I looked for pins everywhere. You can ask my sister. And what the fuck? They had not one pin. Nada más tenían el pinche Luigi. ¿Y quién chingados quiere Luigi? Yo quería pinche Bowser.
Yeah.
Or alguien chingón. No, querían darme el pinche Luigi. I'm like, whatever.
But I'm sure you could find one online
but
if you wanted to. It
would be nice if you were artistic. And I believe that a lot of the Navajo Native Americans or any Native American are very artistic.
Anyways, so that's the fun fact about Gallup. Now, as far as this case goes, there was an update that came out earlier this year. The information... It was information that no one was aware of in regard to the early investigation until now. So I'll start at the beginning and then just lay out what happened at the time and then go over the new information that came out earlier this year. So I'm sorry if it's a little bit confusing, so just
bear with us.
Téngame paciencia.
Por favor. Gracias.
So sadly, this case is about a young girl who went missing at the age of 9. Under extremely just very weird circumstances.
Weird meaning like spooky weird? Meaning, okay.
No, just very odd. Si bien pinche raro. And to this day, she has not been found.
Oh, wow.
So it literally is like she just vanished.
Pobrecita.
And it randomly, as far as she goes, it kind of reminded me of Asha Degree. Remember we talked about her earlier this year? También. Pero just in the fact that, they just vanished without a trace and they were both 9 and little girls y ya nunca las encontraron. We're going to begin today's case with Anthonette Christine Cayedito, who was born on December 25th, 1976 to parents Penny Cayedito and Larry Estrada in New Mexico. I'm not sure when it happened, pero Penny and Larry were not together and they were separated. I'm not sure if they were ever together, to be honest, but that doesn't matter. And Anthonette se quedó a vivir con su mamá. So vivía con Penny in Gallup at 204 Arnold Circle on the west side of the city. So Anthonette had 2 younger sisters, Sadie and Wendy, who at the time of Anthonette's disappearance were 7 and 5. So they were
kind of like
2 years apart cada niña.
Sí, ándale, estaban bien seguiditas.
Sí, porque Anthonette was 9, Sadie 7, y ya luego Wendy 5. Larry, her dad, would later say about Anthonette that she was 9 going on 15.
I know a few of those.
She acted, well, not as far as like their attitude, but she acted older than her actual age. She was good in the kitchen. He said that she was making tortillas by age 6.
Can't relate.
She said that neither can I. She was protected of her younger sisters. She was taking care of them, made sure.
There's some people that just are born to be like they have that. Hey, I'm gonna be good at the house. Like I'm gonna be able to. Les gusta hacer que hacer y todo esto. Because my sister, she burns everything.
Yeah,
and and I love cooking. I'm the cook, quote unquote cook. Because I don't know if I'm as good as I think I am. But hey. you know what? And there's some people que nada más no se les da. They just don't want to do it. And like her, she seems like she was like...
But that little?
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing.
And then dice que les planchaba a las niñas también.
Yeah,
like,
no,
she
because
was just
my daughter would be like, you better figure it out. You better put that shit in the dryer.
It's different too, like nowadays compared to back then, you know.
¿Cuándo es esto?
She's from 76, so she went missing in 1986.
So, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, by ese tiempo, yeah, you know, it was different.
Yeah, for sure. And then she was, like I said, very protective of her younger sisters and made sure that they were always taken care of. And she was described as just very level-headed. Como siempre bien calmada. She just, you know, got stuff done, whatever she needed to get done.
She got to do what she got to do.
On the evening of April 5th, 1986, Penny was going out. So she got a babysitter para que se quedara con las girls. So Penny went out. She got home a little bit after midnight, and she sent the sitter home. And they lived in a home. Y they had 4 bedrooms. So cada niña tenía su cuarto, and then Penny had her own room. Pero they all liked to sleep with their mom. So todas dormían en el cuarto con Penny for the most part.
So los otros cuartos estaban solos?
No, they had the girl stuff in
but
there.
I mean, just saying que no había nadie durmiendo ahí. Okay,
right.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. For the most part.
For the most part. Okay, they would sleep with their mom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So after Penny returned that night, Anthonette se quedó up with her mom. And they were just talking, and Sadie and Wendy went to bed. They stayed up until kind of like maybe 3 a.m. Está la niña and Penny. And then se fueron a dormir. Newspapers at the time reported that after everyone had gone to bed, there was a knock at the door. Anthonette and Sadie woke up and heard a man on the other side of it. Mm-hmm. And al señor estaba diciendo algo, no sé qué exactamente estaba diciendo, pero the girls didn't recognize the voice. So they went back to bed.
They were like, we're not opening the door.
Right.
Ahí que se quede.
Yeah. Later, there was a second knock. Again, at the time, it was reported que Sadie said to Larry, so Larry's el papá de Anthonette, and they don't have the same dad. Sadie and Wendy have different parents. Pero later, it is reported
different parents or just different dads?
Different dads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was reported that Sadie told Larry later that she didn't know at what time the second knock came. That she remembers que Anthonette got up to see who it was, and she didn't follow her this time. She said que se acostó y
she was probably like, it's probably the same person.
Right.
No va a dormir, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So she stayed asleep. At around 7 a.m. on April 6th, porque ya era de día, Penny woke up and she was getting, it was Sunday. She was going to get the girls ready to go to Bible study. And she noticed que Anthonette wasn't next to her. So she got up and looked for her en los cuartos, en la sala, en todas partes, and didn't find her. She then realizes que the front door and the screen door are unlocked.
Pero están cerradas.
Yeah, they were closed, but
okay. they weren't locked. Okay.
And she says that she swears that she locked the doors. Mm-hmm. So,
well, yeah, because they had knocked. She was like, they just kind of like left whoever was out there, and so she was sure that they were locked. Uh-huh.
Yes. So she woke up the girls, las little girls, and with their PJs still on, they left the house and went door to door asking neighbors if they had seen Anthonette. Y todos le dijeron que no la habían visto. And then she proceeded to look for Penny around the neighborhood and surrounding areas, like in places que Anthonette would like to hang out in the neighborhood. Pero no encontraba nada. No encontró a nadie. After searching for Anthonette and not finding her, Penny calls the Gallup police at around 11 a.m. and explains what happened. Les dice, that she woke up and her daughter wasn't home and she wasn't next to her and couldn't find her. She is then told that she has to wait 8 hours before making a missing persons report.
As we know, if people have been listening to any true crime, that's usually what the cops will tell you.
But that's the thing is that this is it's not like an older teenager. It's not an adult.
She's a little girl.
She's 9. It's a child. So the fact that they even said that back then is like, I feel like now it's a child. They're like, okay, yeah, we're on it. But
back then it was not as
you would think, right? After hanging up with the police, Penny calls Larry and lets him know that Anthonette is missing. And he just springs into action. I think he lived with his current wife on the north side of the city. So then he takes his ass to where Penny lives and begins to look for his daughter. And family and friends join in on the search of the neighborhood and again the surrounding areas, and nothing. And it wasn't until the next day, on Monday, that the police actually join in on the search, finally. Y también the state police search and rescue team also get called. And they would actually conduct a 25-mile radius twice in the days following the disappearance of Anthonette.
I mean, they looked.
Yeah, they were looking. And especially because Gallup is not that big of a town, you know.
So they're
small.
like, she has to be somewhere.
Yeah, like somebody has to have seen something, you know. So Penny and Larry, of course, get interviewed. Penny tells police that the last time she laid eyes on Anthonette was at 3 a.m. when she was sleeping or going to sleep. And that when she got up at 7 a.m., she was gone. And Larry tells police that Sadie told him about the knocking in the early hours of April 6th and how initially she and Anthonette got up and checked, but the second time only Anthonette got up and checked. It is then that they start thinking that whoever it was on the other side of the door the second time around that the knock came, Anthonette must have known who it was, right?
O le abrió.
Right. Because her parents were adamant that otherwise, if she didn't know who it was, she wasn't going to open the door.
Yeah.
That was like...
And you know your child. Like, you know what they're capable of and not doing. Like, I know my children and I know who would open the door and who wouldn't, you know?
Yeah. And then that's what they say, that was like a golden rule that you did not open the door for anybody. And if it was somebody that you knew and your mom was home, that okay, but other than that, you would not open the door for anybody.
Because se quedaron solas. They were used to being alone, so they kind of had their rule, you know?
Yeah, they knew. Especially Anthonette, that she was so mature for her age. She knew, you know? And also, they believed that she must have known who it was because there was also no struggle. There was no sign of a struggle or entry or forced entry in the home. So 3 days into the search, almost all family and friends had been interviewed. They had searched everywhere for Anthonette. Flyers had been distributed and posted all over town that included her description. She was 4'7". She had brown hair, brown eyes. Her hair was long, and she was wearing a pink nightgown. Leads had come in which led them to expand their search to Albuquerque and Grants. So Albuquerque is like 2 hours from Gallup, and then Grants is in the middle of, so it's like an hour to Grants and then another hour to Albuquerque. At that point, they were thinking that Anthonette had gotten obviously abducted or kidnapped, and none of her belongings were missing. Like, she didn't take any shoes. The only thing that was missing was what she was wearing, which is a pink nightgown. Now, during the investigation, an elderly neighbor told Larry and Penny that she saw an older model brown truck with New Mexico license plates outside of Penny's home between 6:30 y 7 de la mañana. And that she saw a man get out of the vehicle and approach the home. The neighbor also stated that she couldn't really make out the features of this person because she wasn't really paying attention. She didn't think anything of it.
No, if there's somebody there, she probably thought, oh, tienen visita, or somebody that they know. Now,
Anthonette's family stated that they didn't know anybody that owned a vehicle matching that description. So that eventually led nowhere, sadly. As the days passed, Larry and Penny were becoming very frustrated with the investigation since it wasn't yielding any results. Larry himself was contemplating hiring a private investigator, and Penny turned to her Navajo heritage and culture. She made arrangements to have like a medicine woman come to her home and perform a ritual, which is described as a psychic ceremony intended to elicit information, which in this case, they wanted to find out what happened to Anthonette, or if they could be shown something
helpful.
Yeah, correct. But I don't think anything came from the medicine woman going over to Penny's house. Not that I could find, at least. So by June, all leads had been exhausted. There was a reward of $1,000 that was put up by Crime Stoppers, but it failed to bring any information. And it would be until a year after Anthonette's disappearance that something...
In a year? It took a year?
Yeah, like something that would breathe life back into this case. On April 12, 1987, a call came into the Gallup police station, and on the line was a little girl.
Oh.
She stated that she was Anthonette Cayedito.
What?
And she repeated it multiple times. She was like, I'm Anthonette Cayedito and I'm in Albuquerque.
What the hell?
When the person who had answered the phone call at the police station asked her where in Albuquerque she was, you hear a man come on the line and he just kind of like screams or kind of reprimands her and tells her, who said you could use a phone? And then the girl, Barbie, it's so sad. Like, if you listen to this phone call, it's gonna make you, like, it just breaks your heart, because cuando le dice eso, the girl just starts like suelta el llanto on the line, and you can hear it, and she's like, I don't know, it's really sad. Thinking about it makes me want to cry. It's really sad. So after that,
so llora pero no dice nada.
No, she's crying because this man came who
La regañó.
Who said who could use the phone, and then you can kind of hear like a little bit of a scuffle, or no sé si le está quitando el teléfono, and the person on the line at the police station, they're like, where are you, Anthonette, where are you? But then the call drops.
And obviously this is what, in 77, 78?
86.
Oh, 86.
87, I'm sorry.
87, 88. So then we're looking at, advances are not the best.
The call was played for Penny, and she listened to it over and over and over again. And she says that it was Anthonette on that line. And she says that she could tell by the way that she said her last name, Cayedito. And she sounds like she's like a little girl. You could tell she's a little girl. So while Penny was certain that it was Anthonette's voice on that call, she couldn't identify the man's voice. And unfortunately, the call was only 40 seconds and too short to be able to be traced. Again, searches were expanded to Albuquerque, as they just had a year prior when she first went missing.
At this point, they're like, hey, she's in Albuquerque, she's calling. Yeah. What the hell,
Mm-hmm. And nothing came of it. There are sightings of a young girl who was possibly Anthonette came in every month, according to the Gallup police detective Amos Hinshaw, from all over the country. They came from Florida. Sightings were from Florida, California, Nevada, Utah, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. And he says, like, we would sort through each one. And dice que mostly they were kind of like discarded or dismissed because either the description was always like a girl that was older than what Anthonette's age would be, or some of them were just not even close to being her. So, but he's like, we would go through each one every month. He was like, each one sorting through them. But Detective Amos, he said that he couldn't shake a gut feeling that he had as far as Anthonette's case went. He felt that maybe the family knew more than they were letting on.
Why so?
He thought this because initially they were not made aware that a number of people had been coming in and out of the Cayedito home on the night before Anthonette's disappearance.
Oh.
There were also other bits of information that
they thought they were getting kept or something like that? Como que no les querían decir? Or?
Yeah, like there were other bits of information that were later confirmed by the family, but they seem to have been provided primero by the family. Like the family soltaba like little things here and there to other people. And then that people would tell the police, and then the police would confirm that with the family. But they're the ones that let it slip.
So based on what I know, and I might be wrong, and if anybody knows this information, then let us know. But I thought that like the native in their tribes, they were very like close, like together. They were like they como no I wouldn't want to say close together, pero como se llama, very private, como que se quedaba entre ellos, they have each other's back.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe that's why
we'll find out why.
Oh, okay.
We'll circle with that. Okay. Back to that. Ow.
Okay.
Months and months passed by, and on December of 1987, Anthonette's case was going to be looked into from the ground up again.
They're like, let's start over.
Yes.
Maybe we missed something,
It was going to be covered again by the Gallup Police Department and a new FBI agent, because, agents would get like assigned to different cases. And actually, this was going to be like either the third or the fourth time that they went through the case from the ground up, hoping that maybe, they could see something that they hadn't seen before. But again, nada. 4 years later, with, technology progression, the FBI decided to release 2 computer-enhanced photos of what Anthonette might have looked like at that time. So she would have been 14. So
yeah, because of the time that's passed, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And it actually paid off.
Yeah?
See, it was 4 months after they released those 2 pictures que there was a strange incident reported to the Carson City police station. Carson City is in Nevada, which is 870 miles from Gallup. So habla una mesera. She calls the police station and she states that she might have possibly seen Anthonette. She went on to tell the police that she was waiting on a table of 3. It was a couple, una señora y un señor. She said that they looked kind of like unkempt, como que no se peinaban or something. And a small girl who looked to have been either 14 or 15. Dijo that the young girl was purposely dropping her utensils on the floor. Y ella los recogía, and she would put them next to the girl. Y que la girl le agarraba la mano así bien fuerte as she was putting the utensils back then next to her. The waitress says that at the time she didn't think anything of it. And
como que le quería decir algo.
Como ella quería llamándole la atención, I'm assuming. So at the time she said that she didn't think anything of it. And it wasn't until after the group of 3 left and no estaba recogiendo la mesa that she found a napkin under the plate of the young girl that read, "Help me, call the police."
Wow.
Yeah. And by the time, obviously, the waitress discovered the note,
they were gone.
They were long gone by that point.
But now we're looking at 800 miles away from home.
Right.
Dang, ¿para dónde se la llevaron?
So this caused detectives to re-examine the case again. And as part of doing that, they decided to speak with Anthonette's younger sister, Wendy, who at the time that her sister disappeared, she was 5. And now she was now 10, obviously. They wanted to get her recollection of the night's events again, just like they did every couple of years. Every time that they looked into it, they were interviewing everybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So detectives were not expecting the bombshell that Wendy dropped.
What?
When she was talked to again.
Cuenta.
Yeah, boy. In 1991 was when this interview took place of Wendy. She went on to say that she remembered that there was a knock at the door in the middle of the night and that Anthonette went to answer it and that she followed Anthonette.
Oh.
Anthonette asked who it was, and a man's voice on the other side of the door dijo que it was Uncle Joe.
Who's Uncle Joe?
So she opened the door and then she was grabbed.
What the fuck?
Es lo que está diciendo Wendy. Es lo que dijo Wendy. According to Wendy, Anthonette started kicking and screaming, "Let me go, let me go." But they grabbed her. She said it was 2 guys. And they threw her into a brown van.
What the fuck?
And unfortunately, I mean, she was 5, dude. First of all,
dude.
She said she said she didn't remember how these guys looked. But obviously I get that. I don't remember shit from 2 weeks. No, I remember everything. Dude, I don't remember shit from 5.
No, you remember everything, but I remember shit from like yesterday. So that's crazy.
But it's obviously understandable.
But like a lot of the times, I don't know if you've heard, but I he escuchado yo que like trauma like that, a lot of people kind of try to suppress and like not remember those things. So maybe like with times como que se va acordando or like dreams and stuff like that. Remember that one episode that we had where there was a girl that she would like dream things and that was a guy that had hit her in the head.
Oh, Brittany.
Y que you would be like, they had even put her into hypnosis and stuff. Pero stuff like that que she had not wanted to remember. Maybe she just was like, she was 5. Like she didn't want to remember that stuff. So no se quería acordar.
Let's take a quick break. Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! Taser! He's going to shoot!
Oi! Shot fired! Shots fired!
Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
When detectives asked her why she didn't say anything at that time, she said that, that she thought that she was going to get in trouble and that she was scared to speak up. Which I get because she said that her mom was just crying all the time. So, and bitch, you're 5, like, of course, like if you see her, I don't think you really understand what's going on at 5, honestly.
And honestly, she probably didn't know why those people were taking her sister. Like, no sabía ni qué onda,
Yeah, a lo mejor estaba media dormida
también. She's 5, like,
yeah.
dude, I don't know. That's crazy. ¿Y luego qué le preguntaron o qué?
So there was an Uncle Joe in the family.
Uh-huh.
At the time, Uncle Joe was Penny's brother-in-law. He was married to Penny's sister. So obviously they went to go speak with Uncle Joe, and he had a good alibi, and it was corroborated. So he was ruled out.
Pero couldn't have been somebody that knew Joe?
Right. That used to use somebody's name, right?
Or that knew Joe enough to say, hey, it's Uncle Joe, because he would have known that maybe Anthonette wouldn't have opened the door. Right?
I agree. This led police to believe that Anthonette was taken by someone who was close to the family.
Yeah,
pretty much.
had to.
And she knew this person that was close to the family. Whoever took her knew she wouldn't open the door for just anyone, and knew to say the name of a family member to get her to open the door. Because remember, she must have known this person, because she had to have opened the front door and the screen door.
Yeah.
It was two doors.
And she screamed, and her mom didn't hear her?
Right.
What the hell?
Obviously, Joe was ruled out.
It wasn't Joe.
It wasn't Joe.
But it could have been somebody. My question is this. My 2 cents is that, it must have been somebody that knew Joe that has been over to the house, because you said a lot of people have been over, So maybe?
Obviously, things stall. Not obviously, but things stall again in the case. But in December of 1992, the show Unsolved Mysteries featured Anthonette's case, hoping to get a credible tip.
I love that shit. I love Unsolved Mysteries.
And I pulled it up.
Yeah.
I watched the segment because it's just like maybe 10 minutes.
They do like
different
segments.
different stories. And it's from 1992, but everything's so old school, like the acting,
the way that
clothes.
they talk, and the little music is crazy. Hasta se mira como blurry and shit. I'm like, did
grainy.
it really look like that? Because in my mind, it didn't look like that when I was watching TV in 1992.
You were watching fucking HD shit.
HD shit. I was watching pinche, ¿cómo se llama? Sesame Street. It looked perfect. Pero no, I guess it was looking like that.
Well, now, like through Now's eyes, everything's so clear. And personally, after the segment of Unsolved Mysteries for Anthonette's case, I couldn't find if anything concrete came off of that.
Like any leads.
Leads, yeah. And as far as the public knew, that Anthonette's case went cold and they just never found her.
Yeah, porque acuérdate también que el neighbor dijo que there was somebody with the brown truck. Van or whatever. Pero no supo quién era. They didn't have any way to see, like, can they say what kind of van it was or anything?
Just that it was a brown van.
But like, for example, be like, oh, well, there was a Ford F-150, por decir.
Yeah.
Because eso sí tenemos in Texas. Trucks.
Yeah.
But, or a van, or like, hey, it was a so-and-so with, I don't know, something, a sticker. I don't know. I'm just asking.
But like you said, I mean, like the lady said, she's like, I wasn't really paying attention because no se me hizo raro ver eso. So you don't think to look at the details,
Yeah.
You don't.
We've talked about that too.
Yeah.
How we don't look at details, and maybe we should, because, it's so important sometimes. But I mean, I'm not going to be driving around thinking everybody has somebody in the back.
I do.
Oh, Jesus. They have medicine for that, sister.
So Penny Cayedito actually passed away on April 18th of 1999 at the age of 46.
Wow, why was she she was young.
Yeah, she was really young. And took with her what happened to her daughter, according to some people.
What?
And just like a real quick side note, when I found that Penny died, también me enseñó, like, Penny's mom, her name was Betty, and she died that same year, but she died after her daughter. She died in October. And I just thought that was so sad.
It is sad.
Yeah. But she was like 76, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
¿Y de qué se murió su mamá, Penny?
Oh, I don't know. I just saw that she had died.
But she knew what happened, según according to what you read.
Some people say that Penny, and we're about to get into that.
Okay. But you said they never found her, so I'm confused. Okay, go ahead.
Like I just said, that's how Anthonette's case stayed after Penny's death. Cold, essentially. New detectives would get assigned to the case.
Why did I think that you were going to say cold enchiladas? I don't know why. I think I'm just hungry. Cold enchiladas. Like,
I'll take enchiladas any way I can get them.
I was like, was she about to say enchiladas? The hell?
Like I just said, new detectives would get assigned to the case. They would go over it, reinvestigate, so on and so forth. And age progression, pictures of Anthonette would get released like 20 years after her disappearance, and they would, make the picture would show what she would look like.
I mean, they were
age.
still trying.
Yeah. And no one was ever named a person of interest. There was never a suspect, nothing, as far as people knew. And it wasn't until earlier this year that a YouTube channel called Cristal Gutierrez TV did a major deep dive into Anthonette's case, and they actually revealed details that were not known about things that were happening at that time.
Wow. Okay, Cristal Gutierrez.
The show on her channel is called Beyond the Case.
Get it, Beyond the Case.
So it like she does amazing work. Like, you guys should go and follow her.
Please follow her.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Cristal Gutierrez is,
and she sounds Hispanic.
Yeah, I think she is.
And she's a woman.
Yeah, she is a seasoned TV news reporter and anchor, more than 15 years in the business.
That's
and
awesome.
Along with the retired detective, who is now a private investigator, Luis Carlos, they look into cases that kind of sit untouched for years and try to find answers. So they pulled all the case files they got all the case files from the Gallup Police Department. They requested files from the FBI as far as this case goes.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah, they hit the road. They speak to family members. They speak to people involved in the case. And in this case, they sat down with Sadie, who now is Sadie Acevedo. And this is what they discovered, and this is what I learned from. She has 2 parts for Anthonette's case, so they're on YouTube. Just like I said, Cristal Gutierrez TV. That's the name of her channel.
Look her up, guys.
So this is what happened leading up to Anthonette's disappearance. So from their research and from speaking to Sadie, they found out that there was a man that would bring gifts to Anthonette.
What?
It was noted on a police report dated 4/10/1986, so 4 days after she had gone missing, that Emo, which is what this guy's name, which is what he went by, but his real name was Emiliano or something like that.
Emo. Okay.
He brought Anthonette flowers 3 times in the days leading up to her disappearance, which Penny only mentioned to police because a family member brought it up at that time.
So they thought that was like for Antoinette to, Penny thought that was normal? Like she didn't...
For a grown-ass man to bring flowers to her and gifts to her 9-year-old daughter.
So rewind. So you're telling me that she was aware and she didn't feel like that was something she needed to tell the detectives?
Right.
Oh, okay.
This emo person never...
Emo.
Yes. Never went to the Cayedito home by himself. There was always another person with him. And that person was Ronald Perry.
Another man.
Who was BFFs with Penny. And it was Ronald who introduced Penny and Emo.
Okay.
Sadie stated that on April 5th, as her mom was getting ready to go out, remember initially?
Yes,
Emo came to the Cayedito home again and brought flowers and a gift for Anthonette.
That is so creepy.
But he was by himself. Seen Ronald.
Okay.
And remember, she said that he had never gone to the house by himself. It was always with Ronald. But this time, llegó solo.
Solo, okay.
While Penny was in the back of the home.
So I'm a little bit confused, and I'm sorry that I'm interrupting you. So you're telling me that this man just shows up to your house with flowers for your 9-year-old daughter?
No, bitch, that would never fucking happen in my house. Don't look at my daughter. I don't have one. But don't look at my nieces.
I'm like, wait, like that just, so she's cool with, like, I don't understand. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry, because I'm already getting upset and I don't even know what's going on. Okay, go ahead.
So, like I just said, while Penny was in the back of the home, either getting ready or laying down, quien sabe, the girls were in the sala or in the living room area, and Emo was talking to Anthonette. And Anthonette was sitting on his lap.
No, ma'am. No fucking way. I don't care what year you're living in. You do not let your child sit on nobody's lap. Grown ass man.
That's gross. Sadie said that she grabbed Anthonette's hand and pulled her off his lap, and they all went to Anthonette's room, which she says Anthonette would do that for them all the time. When Penny had always had like shit ton of parties at her house. There was always adults around.
It would get uncomfortable.
Sadie said that Anthonette would keep them really close to her. She was like away from the adults. She always had us with her, and then we would all just go to her room.
Kind of to protect them.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
After Anthonette's disappearance, Emo and Ronald never went back to the Cayedito home. And as far as Sadie knows, they never spoke to Penny ever again either one. And she says that was fucking weird because Ronald Perry and her mom were like muña y mudre. BFFs. They would go play. She said that she would play with their kids. She would play with his kids. They would come play with her. Like, they were besties.
Y para que no wasn't by her, with the disappearance of her daughter. Like, it's just crazy to me. I still can't get over Emo bringing fucking flowers, bro. For the 9-year-old. Like.
So Emo, along with others, in the initial part of the investigation, when she first disappeared, some people took polygraph tests, right?
Yeah.
But his test and the results were not included in the case file that Crystal and Lewis got from the Gallup Police Department. And why the fuck not? And as far as any of the paperwork went or anything in the case file, any documents, he was never named or considered a person of interest.
And why not?
Or suspect.
And why not?
You're asking the million-dollar question here.
Wow.
So that was new information that came to light
recently
in the days leading up to her.
Pertaining to that time period. Okay.
In the 1986.
In the 1986. Okay.
In the 1986.
In the 1986. 1986 was a good year.
So, because Barbie was born.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
What?
You were born 20 days later after she went missing.
Yeah, I know.
So, that was the night. Penny goes out, right? Comes back home. Sadie and Wendy were told that they needed to go to bed since it was late, right? You go a little bit after midnight. And they both slept in a bed together in Penny's room. This is what Sadie said. And then Penny and Anthonette slept in the same bed. But Penny and Anthonette stayed up playing cards, which Sadie said was weird and not common. What differs from what Penny told detectives initially as far as where everyone was sleeping that night is that she stated that Sadie and Wendy were in their own room and that she and Anthonette
were in her room.
Were in her room.
Uh-huh.
And that when she got up in the morning...
No estaba.
Y que pensó que Anthonette a lo mejor se fue al cuarto de las otras niñas y las fue a buscar.
Yeah.
Al cuarto de las otras niñas. When the first knock came and Anthonette and Sadie got up, Penny actually told the girls to just ignore it and to go back to bed. A police report states that person that knocked the first time was a name named Roger Plummer. And he was not a plumber.
He was not the plumber.
Not
to be confused.
Not a plumber, girl.
Not to be confused, bro.
Not to call 1-800-plumber.
1-800-Rooter.
So this plumber, Roger, he knocked on Penny's door around 3:30 in the morning. And he wanted to check in on her because según se habían agarrado de la greña con Penny at a bar where she was at.
I just thought you were going to say he wanted a chicken.
You don't have dinner after this?
Yeah, I'm going to eat because I'm starving.
Not the chicken and the enchiladas.
And the enchiladas.
Chicken enchiladas?
Chicken enchiladas.
So this Roger character knocked at 3:30 in the morning and porque se habían agarrado de la greña at the bar. And he just...
So él iba como a...
He wanted to check up on her because they had gotten upset with each other. And I guess he just wanted to make sure she was fine. That's what he said.
Not to fuck her up more? He didn't follow her to fuck her up?
No, they just argued. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was about to say, dude, I'm over here thinking like the worst of the worst.
No, bitch, me too. After, obviously, they spoke to this individual, and he said that esta no le abrió, so he went down the street and slept in another house in the same neighborhood. And this was corroborated by that person, and the time matched.
Okay.
Yeah. So
remember,
remember,
they said it was alibi. His alibi. Okay.
Remember there was a second knock, right?
Yes.
That Wendy said happened? Well, Sadie says she doesn't remember a second knock. But she says that she remembers her sister, Wendy, and her mom talking about it. Now, there is a report where Penny mentions a second knock between 3:30 in the morning and 4:30 in the morning. And that report is from 1994.
What the fuck?
When she was interviewed by the FBI.
Okay.
As far as the second knock goes, this is what the report says from that year. Quote, and this is Penny. This is what Penny said.
The mom
on that report. Quote, I told her, Anthonette, to go ahead and answer it. I laid there for a period of time, maybe 30 minutes, and Anthonette never came back.
30 minutes?
I got up to see where she was, but I couldn't find her.
30 minutes.
End quote. And that she says that when she got up to see where she was, that the sun was, quote, just getting light.
30 minutes.
I know.
So you're going to lay there. Ahorita viene. 30 minutes. No, fuck all that shit. She knew what was going on. I'm sorry. But she did.
Not sorry.
I'm not. That's upsetting. Like, I can't believe that.
Remember, that's not what she said initially.
No.
She said that she saw Anthonette go to bed at 3.
At 3, and then
when she woke up at 7, she was gone.
Yeah, and not only that, that's why I was telling you earlier, how in the hell is it that the little girl was screaming to let her go, and she didn't hear that? How is that possible?
Maybe she never screamed.
Pero maybe she didn't scream, but her sister remembers that she was screaming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe she did scream and her mom ignored it. You never know.
Yeah. Now, during that same interrogation, the FBI told or confronted Penny, telling her that they had information that she might be involved in her daughter's disappearance. And it is reported that Penny said pretty much essentially, quote, "What would happen if I was involved along with Emo?" End quote.
What the? Girl.
And the FBI told her something along the lines of, we can't promise you anything. We would need to talk to the state prosecutor. And this is what is kind of considered.
And there's reports of this. Like, this is written down somewhere that FBI. She asked that.
Yeah, FBI.
Okay.
FBI reports.
Yeah.
So this is what's kind of the beginning of what is considered, quote unquote, a confession.
Yeah.
From Penny during the interrogation in 1994, March of 1994.
FBI.
With the FBI. It's considered by some, not really by others, right? But it kind of looks like a confession. Mm-hmm. All of it is from, like I just said, FBI reports, and it's not the full report, just some parts. And they were, I know that beyond the case, they obviously put up the information, and they actually redacted some information from the reports or Penny's quote unquote confession. And they said that they don't want to hinder the investigation. Obviously the case is
ongoing.
Yeah. So this is what the FBI reports state. Quote, Cayedito stated that she and Emo got together on a plan prior to her daughter's disappearance, end quote. Another one says, quote, Cayedito advised that Emo Gardella and Ron Perry had come over, redacted. She remarked to Emo that her oldest daughter was getting to be a problem, and she wanted a better life for her, end quote. I have no idea how that makes any fucking sense, but okay. Quote, Cayedito advised that Emo Gardella then told her that he would be the person that would take Anthonette. Redacted. End quote. Quote, Cayedito stated that she wanted to know where. Redacted. Told her it was better that she did not know. End quote. Quote, Cayedito stated soon thereafter it started getting light, and at the time she became concerned for Anthonette and had second thoughts regarding her disappearance, end quote. At the end of the report information interrogation, Penny stated that she did try to find Anthonette, but had no idea where she was and just hoped that she was still alive. So, hypothetically speaking, right, these are just thoughts.
I'm going to tell you, do you want to hear if my hypothetically speaking has anything to do with that? Like, she fucking did something.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She opened her fucking mouth. She said, what? I'm just like in shock. Like, how the fuck would you go around crying? Like, okay,
the little bitch.
Yes. Go ahead.
So hypothetically, no, you're good. Hypothetically speaking, if Penny did allow her daughter to, quote unquote, be taken by these people that we're not saying did it, we're just, allegedly. What was the motive?
Yeah. Oh, they must have paid her. Le dieron dinero de seguro.
It is believed, it's not real, that motherfucker is not real. Sorry. It is believed that it was in exchange for either maybe drugs were involved.
How much?
Obviously, because Sayre recalls that their home got raided. Obviously, it was before Anthonette went missing. And it was because there were people that would hang out at their home, in the Cayedito home, that were pushing drogas.
So the police came and they
raided the home and they trashed it.
Okay.
I don't know if anything was found, but the home was raided. And remember,
it doesn't matter what amount of drugs or what amount of money. Like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
But it's crazy to think that people do sell their children.
Yes, it's just incredible to me. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. I understand.
Like, some people shouldn't have kids, honestly.
They shouldn't. And it's not only just in... It's like people with dogs. Like, if you can't take care of a dog and you're going to hurt them, don't have dogs.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. bunnies, fucking, I don't
Whatever.
know, squirrels. I don't care. But the thing is, we're talking about a human being. Like, why?
And this is like, she's part of you. Like, she came out of you.
Yes, and you're okay with no. I mean, it had to have been. Please tell me it was a lot of money, because nobody
knows. That's the thing. This is alleged.
I know that's what I'm saying, but no amount of money,
no,
is ever going to be enough for you to just be like, yeah, here you go, ahí está, llévatela.
So as far as we know, till this day, no one has ever even been named a suspect or a person of interest.
Did they even ask Emo? What the fuck?
Or he has been charged. Yes, there was a detective in the late 90s, mid 2000s, that when he was looking over the file, he went and speak to him, and he said, I'm not talking about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry that I asked, sir. I apologize, because, we need to make sure that you're okay.
So the Beyond the Case team requested more documents from the case. They requested it from the FBI, but it was denied due to privacy.
Whose privacy?
I guess they're in regards to investigation. I'm sure maybe there's something, is going on behind the curtains. They also actually tried to get in contact with Ron Perry and Emiliano, but they couldn't after talking to some relatives, dialing some phone numbers. I think even somebody told them that one of them was dead already. So,
Tu madre. Oh, God.
And that's where it's at.
That's it.
That's it. It just stops. And people have questions to this day, because this detective,
I have questions.
That detective that I was just talking about, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. He said that the information, the case file that they showed him, the Beyond the Case team, he was like, I didn't know any of these reports existed.
Yeah.
He was like, I didn't have none of this information. If I would have had this information at that time that I was looking into the case, he was like, I would have picked him up. I would have picked up Emo and maybe that other person.
Yeah, because
Perry.
it took forever. We're talking about 86 to 94, right? That's
but
almost.
Why didn't the FBI do anything after that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why did the FBI just let it
is
go?
There more? Obviously, some stuff is redacted. Some stuff is not being shown. But like, is there what? Why couldn't you?
For those words to come out of that woman's mouth,
right?
Como dicen por allí, si el río suena es porque piedras lleva.
Or what's that other saying?
What?
About the forest se está quemando or something.
No, not about forest. But anyway, what I'm saying is, if you're telling me that if these words came out of her mouth, like she said these things, and now you're like, oh no, let's ignore it for the rest of our lives. Like, how is that okay?
So like, obviously there's hope that she's alive somewhere, because obviously somebody wanted her, and obviously this is what it seems like from what was
so sad.
I know it sounds really bad, but I don't think they would have wanted her to kill her, right? Quien sabe, but
I mean, because if they wanted to, unfortunately, and I'm so sorry about to say this, but if they wanted, they could have killed her there.
Yeah, and on
top of that, killed her other sisters. There was other girls there.
Obviously, because I keep on saying obviously, pero Penny must have been in on it, according to us. This is our opinion.
Our humble opinion.
How do you have the balls to take her from her fucking home where everybody is in? Her sisters are there, her mom is there.
That's what I just said. Like,
so,
si la muchachita estaba, dices tú, okay, maybe she didn't scream. Okay, let's say she didn't. She's like, okay, come on. But she said she waited 30 minutes and she didn't come back.
For sure.
Like, bitch, no, you were waiting 30 minutes so that she can leave.
You knew.
She probably even watched it happen, Estela. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, the other two little girls, they don't remember that shit.
Yeah, or they remember what they want to remember,
yeah,
and they block some parts out.
Y lo que le dijo su mom, or whatever their mom was and them were talking about. But it's just so crazy to me that you can just sit there for 30 minutes and be like, oh, she didn't come back. All right, let me get up and see if she's there now. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no.
And not only that, but did you notice that the sister también dijo that they were playing cards and it was late?
Yeah, and it was
so
weird.
Were they waiting for someone?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that what was going on? You were waiting for someone to come and get your daughter?
You guys just didn't agree on a time, and then you were like, okay, maybe he'll come later. Let's just go to sleep or whatever.
And that's why she didn't open the door to the other guy?
Yeah, maybe she thought he was like, capaz que se encuentra con el otro guy y ahorita van a llegar los dos al mismo tiempo y ya valió verga or something, you know?
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know, but it's so sad.
Yeah. This is a human being. This is a baby girl. Like, I don't know, but I have children and I know everybody or some people out there also, and you have nieces. We all have a family member that we would not want this to happen. So
to anybody.
And if anybody has information,
yes,
please contact Albuquerque.
I'll put the information in the show notes below. So you can, if you have any information about Anthonette Cayedito, you can reach out.
And also, if you have any more information about this case that we didn't mention,
or that I maybe missed or something like that, please let us know. Feel
free to send us an email, or you can send us a message through
on
Instagram.
Oh, and thank you to everybody that has been sending us messages to Instagram.
Thank you so much. Everybody's so sweet, and we really appreciate our new followers. Everybody that is coming along, you have no idea how appreciated we are of you guys. Thank you so much. And if you keep coming, we really want to work on anything that you send us. So keep letting us know what you think.
And I know Barbie got a message about, the
Memphis 3.
Was Memphis 3? I'm sorry. And that's probably just going to be a while because that is a ginormous case, and it's really fucking sad because it involves children too, and children that were killed, and then children that were put behind bars because they thought that it's a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard it.
It's a lot, and I'm sure it's a good case, and yes, we will end up.
We want to do it justice.
We still have,
and that goes along for the big cases. The John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, Ed Gein, all those big stuff.
And I'm sure that a lot of people have already heard about these cases, and they've already I don't know, I've already kind of have an idea of who they are because they're more famous. So we try to do our best to get cases that are not out there known, but we do want to work on those as well. But we do, like I said, we want to give it its own shine and the moment, and when we're capable of doing it, we will be more than happy to. But we both have been going through a lot these few months, so we're trying to get our lives together, but we promise you that as soon as we can, we will go ahead and put those out there. So let us know once again what you think about this case, and if you would like to follow us on Instagram, we are at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. And you can download our episodes if you want to leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it.
But please remember to download and let anybody know, your friend, your uncle, anybody.
Your tias.
Tus primos. Not Plumber, though, because he was not good. You can let us know how you feel about today's episode. And thank you for listening. Bye.